What's up, guys? Today, a little bit different video style. We're not putting anything together or building anything. I just want to talk about if you have an older home or an older building that you either live in or work out of. I just want to talk about some moisture problems that we've been running into lately with wintertime being here and the inside and the outside temperatures being so much different. I wanted you to know that if you have a moisture or mildew, I don't like to say the mold word problem, but if you have a moisture, mildew, or mold problem and your house is older, and what I mean by older, like pre 1960, 1950s, 40s, 30s, 20s, or especially 1800s, it might not be a water leak that's causing your problems, even if it's tons and tons and tons of water. It's very common in older houses to not have proper ventilation or insulation in the crawl space or in the attic or even in the walls. If you live in an older 1920s or 30s home and you have clapboard siding, or clapboard siding is wooden siding stacked on top of itself, it's like rough cut hewn lumber, and the inside is lapboard, not sheetrock, but you have like plaster of Paris or just plaster on top of lapboard. Oftentimes, those wall cavities between the inside and the outside are not insulated at all. So it's just an air cavity where what happens is if it's 10 degrees outside and it's 70 degrees inside, the air comes into that cavity behind the siding and between your wall and the outside, and the moisture in the air instantly turns to water vapor, and it goes up with the heat and it collects in the top and it'll run down the inside of your wall. So if you've ever been inside of your house or inside of any building or house and you've seen where it looks like water just coming down the walls, or if you've ever taken a shower and not turned your exhaust vent on and you've seen that happen in your shower, it's the exact same thing. That's a little exaggerated because you're putting moisture into the air, but the exact same thing happens if your walls are not insulated. So I just want to make sure you know that if you have a phenomenon like that happening in your home and you've called a plumber and they're like, there's no plumbing problem, there's no problem here, there's no problem there, it could definitely just be an insulation or vapor barrier issue and have nothing to do with any type of water. We just had an issue in an apartment building that we were working on that was built in an old tobacco barn, and there's a different type of water issue, but the same situation. And they left the existing 170-year-old footing and they poured new concrete slab on the inside of it and then built the apartments over top of it. And when they built their new slab, they built it the new way with a vapor barrier and rock underneath and a drain, and they treated the concrete and then they coated it with a moisture blocking material, but they didn't do the footing. And what was happening was in the apartments that had an outside wall, moisture, when it got cold outside and warm inside, the moisture coming through the porous part of the concrete, which the 170-year-old concrete is especially porous, was coming in and it was causing water to literally puddle on the floor, and the water would puddle off of the footing and over into the floor slab. So we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. We did a bunch of different types of tests to figure it out, but it just turns out that the old concrete wasn't treated the same way that the new concrete was. And we were confident that above it was an HVAC unit on the roof, and there was even a drain line that came down, and we were trying to figure out if the roof was leaking and it was coming down the wall, if it was a plumbing leak, if it was, so like even us as people who do this every single day were trying to figure it out. And as it turns out, it was just old concrete leaking through the pores and causing a water problem. Other things to look out for, you definitely watch condensation, any type of water that you spot anytime that you see it. Just don't assume like, oh my God, there's water in that corner over there. There must be a plumbing leak. Don't assume that, especially if there's no plumbing on that side of the house. Call someone who can help you or do some research, use ChatGPT, whatever you got to do to try to figure out where that water might be coming from. The reason that it really kind of matters is you don't want to let it sit and you don't want to let it not get taken care of, because in the long run, moisture is going to be like the biggest cause of damage to your home. And by the time you see it, it's already in the walls. It's already gotten the wood wet. It's already gotten everything around it soaking wet. So by the time you see it, you're at the end stage of the problems that it could cause. And if you don't get it taken care of right away and you're not able to properly diagnose where the water's coming from, then you could run into a much bigger problem down the road. And we're going to make another video about that. But I just wanted to make a quick video to just tell you, I know this is super specific. There's going to be very few people watch this video that live in a 100-year-old house or a 150-year-old apartment. But if you run into these problems, I just wanted to put it out there so that maybe it could help. Even if it only helps one person, I don't care. And that's another video brought to you by Your Home Made Easy. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.